Hi, Jenny, and welcome back to Entrepreneurcast. It's great to have you back on our Wednesday show.
Thank you for having me. And if this is the first time you're listening, Svietlana and I are up for making you more visible every Wednesday in your business, especially when you don't have a lot of time. So these are visibility made easy nuggets that we're going to be sharing with you over the coming weeks. And if you're listening to this episode, you've missed one already, go back and listen to the one before. But here's the thing, we're all too busy running lives, running families, running our business or multiple businesses to spend hours and hours and hours strategizing on how we can boost our visibility and how we can raise our profile. So this week is a really interesting one. This is one that I feel quite sure I've never heard anyone speak about. Have you, Svietlana?
I don't, well, I kind of saw someone posting about it in one of the groups, but not really like talking a lot about it. So we just talked before the show with Jenny. I shared with Jenny that I'm a hashtag dummy. I know nothing about hashtags, and I know a lot of people use them really, really well. I'm also really bad at Twitter. I hardly use it. And obviously, Twitter and Instagram, they use a lot of hashtags. And Jenny, our visibility queen, knows how to use the hashtags. So Jenny, how do we use them? How do we become much more visible with the help of hashtags?
So I'm going to tell you exactly how you can do that over LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. But before I start, if anyone else is squirming in their seats and saying, oh my gosh, I'm a hashtag dummy as well, one of the most obvious questions, of course, to ask is, what is a hashtag? Now, the Americans, our American friends, call this square. You know, when you go to dial in for something, they say, hit square. I've just quickly, I don't even know whether you would be able to see it for those of you who are viewing this in an audio, on the back of this piece of paper. Imagine you're having a game of noughts and crosses. That thing on your phone that looks like noughts and crosses, a little grid, is your hashtag. It's perfectly legal, perfectly legitimate, and it will boost your visibility like nothing else. So I thought, let's start with what is a hashtag. Now, the second way that I would categorize a hashtag, hashtags can really only be used online. So if you're going to a networking meeting, you might want to raise your profile by literally writing down your hashtag in a massive font on a piece of paper and sitting it in front of you. I guess if you go to breakfast networking or networking meetings, it will have people come up to you and say, why have you got that in front of you? So for example, let's take Svietlana. So she is the authority ninja. So when you create hashtags, whatever you type afterwards has to have absolutely no spaces. That's the first thing to note. No spaces at all. If you try to put exclamation marks and numbers in, it breaks it. What you'll notice is when you do this on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, or even Instagram, it will all of a sudden become what's known as a hyperlink. So it means that it's now clickable. When you either tap on it if you're using your phone, or if you click on it if you're on the computer, it will become like a link. When you click on it, you'll see anybody else that uses that link. Now, from terms of visibility, the reason why this is so powerful, it helps you to claim, as I say to my clients, helps you to claim your place and put your stake in the ground and be known for the thing that you're known for. It means that if anyone is searching for you online, including places like Google and YouTube, it's quite possible that they will be directed to your Instagram page, your Twitter page, you know, Facebook, LinkedIn. So that's the second reason to do it. If somebody reads one of your articles or one of your posts and sees that hashtag in it and becomes curious about the nature of your work, when they click on the hashtag, they'll start to see other works that you have got. And it's a very easy way to spread the word. So for example, I'm also on Instagram. So I might put a post up on Instagram and say, you know, if you want to hear really great tips for the busy entrepreneur from experts and authorities from all over the world, contact the Authority Ninja, which I'd use as a hashtag. And I'd also put Svietlana's, her tag name in there as well. So it just means that people start to associate the Authority Ninja with Svietlana. Now, the reason why this is so important to do, I'm going to make a confession. Even though I became a visibility specialist and have been running my business for 7 years, this was not something that I even thought to do in my own business. For years, I've missed out on the opportunity to use the hashtag visibility or visibility specialist. Now, the reason that I am choosing to use two different hashtags is because if people are searching for visibility tips and they click on a hashtag for visibility, they'll find me. If people know me as the visibility specialist and they click on a hashtag or search for that, they'll also find me. So using Svietlana as an example, Svietlana could use the hashtag authority ninja, but also the hashtag authority. So when people are saying who's a leading authority in this, this or this and searching, then Svietlana has more chance of being seen and showing up. Now, if she's doing this across social media, and if you're really busy, guys, just pick one that you're comfortable with that you can use quickly. Now that she's doing this, when people are searching in Google, it will start to point to her Twitter page, you know, Twitter feed, her Instagram feed, her Facebook page, or anywhere else like that. So I hope I've really kind of given the reason why to do it. Have you got any questions based on that before I roll on?
No, not really. I think it really makes sense. I mean, I know the hashtags I'm going to start using.
Okay, so here's something else, and those of you that are familiar with my work will know that I'm up for sharing the glory and the great stuff, but I'm also about sharing a little peek into my life in a truthful way. There's too much smoke and mirrors in our industry. So how I became kind of aware or more aware of hashtags and how powerful they were. One Monday morning started like any other morning. I had a load of coaching clients, a lot of calls planned. I already had my lunch ready so that I could take a quick break, go and heat up my lunch, eat it and carry on. And one of the second calls of the day was from a really dear client of mine, she's an absolute brilliant woman, who said to me, "Oh, Jenny, I went to a conference at the weekend and I actually took some pictures of the presentation. There was a woman that was sharing visibility vibes." Now, for those of you that don't know this, I actually TM trademark visibility vibes because I have a visibility vibe system. In fact, this tip that I'm sharing is from the V of the visibility vibes, which is all around visibility itself. Now, I didn't invent the word visibility. I didn't invent the word vibes, but vibes is actually an acronym. And to hear that somebody else was training or teaching a visibility vibe system, I wanted to make sure that they weren't basically stealing my content. So this client very kindly sent me through the photos, and immediately what I did was I looked up this woman who I'd heard of, who as far as I knew and to my knowledge wasn't teaching visibility, and I Googled her. I looked at her LinkedIn profile, I looked at her Facebook profile, I looked at her Twitter profile, I looked at her website. Nowhere on any of that did she ever mention visibility or being a visibility specialist, let alone visibility vibes. So I was safe in the knowledge that potentially it could have been that the person might have been using my content, but still I wanted to make sure that it wasn't something new that they'd started doing. So I had that, that confirmation that it wasn't. I then looked at the photos that my client sent me, and in all fairness, they had just attached one word to each of the vibes system, which were completely different to mine. So the other reassuring piece was that they hadn't stolen my intellectual property, which unfortunately does happen sometimes, but I really have a belief that, I don't need to protect my property, my intellectual property, it's fine. So once I knew that, I'm going to be honest with you, I was angry. Now, the thing about anger, it's a really interesting emotion. Unlike guilt and unlike shame and unlike doubt, which are very static emotions, they almost render you unable to move. Anger has a passion, has a fire, has this mobility around it. So I chose to use this feeling of anger, this momentum of anger into something that would benefit me, not hate others. Because call me a hippie, but I think if you sit here in the world firing out anger to people and complaints and nastiness, you're going to get a lot more of it back. So in that moment, what I chose to do was to do my own audit, look at my own Twitter profile, look at my own Instagram profile, look at my own Facebook business page, and make sure that even though I knew I was a visibility specialist, that I actually mentioned the word visibility. And this is where I noticed something. Yes, I put in my bio that I'm a visibility specialist, but when I looked at some of my previous posts on Twitter, when I looked at some of my posts on Instagram, although to be fair, I'd only just started using Instagram, didn't really know what to do with it, I realised that I was not using the hashtag visibility. Oh my gosh. So if this is you and you are not using the hashtag that you want to, let's say, for example, Svietlana has realised that on Instagram, she's not using the authority ninja as a hashtag, or even the word authority. Here's a little hack for you all. Go into your Instagram profiles right now. Go back as far as you dare go back and just edit the caption on there and add in one hashtag. So let's say it's Svietlana. One hashtag will say authority. The next one will say authority ninja. Just go and edit all of that. If you can do that on your Facebook posts as well, especially on your business page, start with your business page first. Go back and edit the hashtag. So that it means that anyone looking will now see all of your stuff historically. Unfortunately, you can't do that on Twitter, and you can do it on LinkedIn, but you can go back, especially if you wrote that brilliant article that everyone was sharing, go back and edit it. So all is not lost. The next thing that I do want to say about hashtags, finally, is here's a word to the wise. There is an optimum number of hashtags to use on certain posts. Now, for those of you that are on LinkedIn, it's deemed as a more professional profile, more corporate. People behave differently on LinkedIn. There are two trains of thought. If you're a real disruptor and don't care what anyone thinks about you or your brand, and you've got the confidence to do it, then go onto LinkedIn and put in 15 hashtags as you would on Instagram. You might either upset people or you might have them in awe. But here's what I recommend. Play the game of the platform. If it's a platform to be professional, be professional. If it's a platform to be sociable, be sociable. If it's a platform that highlights photographs, then highlight photographs. So LinkedIn, you want 1 or 2 hashtags really, 3 at the most, and that's it. Twitter, I would say 4 or 5 is acceptable, but remember that those hashtags will also take up the space of your 140 characters. So I wouldn't go too overboard on it. Instagram, it's quite usual for people to add like a shed load of hashtags, I think 20 or something like that. So there's a couple of ways that you can do this. You can write your description to your photo. Oh, I went to the Chelsea Flower Show. It was gorgeous. It was sunny. I drank pink drinks and I loved everything that I saw. And then as a comment on your own photo, you can fill that with hashtags. Put the ones that you want to be known for first. Authority, then authority ninja, or in my case, visibility, visibility specialist, visibility coach, or whatever that thing is. Go and add those to your photos and add as many as you want. I personally, and this is really personal preference, I don't like to add 20 or 30 hashtags. But to be honest with you, I think it's the demographic that I fall in. I am of an age where I've got the beauty of all this instant social media, but I remembered what it was like to have to phone somebody in Australia and walk to a phone box and put all the coins in and not even have a phone that you could pick up, you know, not have a mobile phone. So I'm in that kind of funny, sticky phase of remembering old school and the new school. So depending on who you are, let it reflect who you are. So if you're a fashion brand, for example, of which a couple of my clients have been fashion brands, then go onto Instagram, show like your pieces, show a little bit of behind the scenes and use the relevant hashtags to those photos, but still use your core hashtags. So homework for you. I'm going to see if Svietlana's got more questions because I'm sure she probably has, but homework for you is decide today the 2 hashtags that you will always use on everything. I'll allow you 3. So mine is visibility, visibility specialist, and the queen of being seen. What are yours? Let us know. So there's a couple of ways you can let us know. Go and find Svietlana on Instagram, and I'll get her to share her Instagram address if she's got it to hand. And if you're on Facebook, come and connect with me. I am Jenny Kovacs, the queen of being seen on Facebook. Either send me a message or go on my wall and say, Jenny, here are my 3 hashtags, put them in there. I'm about your visibility. So why wouldn't I want to share that with my own audience? So that's all I'm going to say on hashtags for now, unless you've got more questions, Svetlana.
Oh no, I just know my 3 hashtags are going to be authority, authority ninja, and Entrepreneurcast.
Brilliant. There you go. I would sneak in an entrepreneur as well. When you use the Entrepreneur cast, sneak in the entrepreneur. And the reason that I say this is because for any of us that are doing things where people are searching for us, especially if you imagine they're going into Google or they're going into Facebook, or even on Instagram, they're going in to see what other entrepreneurs do. When Svetlana uses entrepreneur on its own, entrepreneurs will click on it to see what's there. And all of a sudden, not only will it raise the profile of what you do, Svetlana, but it will have people start to come to you and find you. And again, this stuff really is really effective and really simple. When you have the likes of people as high a profile as Gary Vaynerchuk, and different people like that suddenly send you a message or put a message on your Instagram profile saying, this is great, I love it. It's really heartwarming and quite humbling. And that's what happens simply by using hashtags.
Just one more question, Jenny. So we know it works really well on Twitter and Instagram. I do not know. I don't see as much action with it on Facebook. Is it still as active? Should we put this?
Absolutely. On Facebook, I tend to put 4. Otherwise, it can get a bit too much. 4 to about 8, depending on what the post is and what you're sharing. So if you're posting, for example, one of those lovely memes I call, a nice picture with a great saying on it, rather than just posting the picture with nothing else, at least add some words, or underneath put a few hashtags. Is it a motivational post? Is it one for thought? Is it one about being present? Is it one that Wayne Dyer said? You can even put Wayne Dyer's name as a hashtag if it's something that he said. Hey House Radio, you heard it on, put it on there. If it's the Entrepreneur Cast you've heard it on, put Entrepreneur Cast, and then next hashtag podcast. It helps people to reference, almost like a library, where they found it, but it's really helpful. And you can absolutely use them on LinkedIn, absolutely use them on Twitter, absolutely use them on Facebook. And in fact, especially if you've got a business page, I would definitely recommend you do that. If you run a group or something like that on Facebook, have it be a way that people can find things. So for example, recently I did a 2-day takeover where I got the people in the group just to share whatever videos, links, blogs, whatever they did in their business. And I encourage them to put 2-day takeover, which means that weeks from the time of the event, if people say, oh, Svetlana shared a really great tip on how to run a podcast, they can look or type in the search box 2-day takeover and all of your stuff's going to come out. So worth doing.
Incredible. Well, thank you very much for this tip today, Jenny. Amazing stuff as always. I know that I'm going to start using some more hashtags, and I really hope all our listeners will do too. Thanks a lot, and I really look forward to our next week's tip.
Excellent. Bye for now.